and welcome to another episode of You and Me and Multiple Sclerosis. My name is Pam, and I've been living with multiple sclerosis for almost 38 years. And what I do on this channel is share with you the insights and information that I glean that I think you might find useful too. Well, one of the things that we with MS know is that we pay a lot of attention to our bodies. We're very sensitive to any change from day to day or even hour to hour. Our energy level or our fatigue or whatever else is going on in our bodies, we pay attention. But at the same time, we can be rather obtuse when it comes to other things that go on in our lives that might be causing actually just as much trouble for us. I made a video some time ago about not letting your life get too small. In other words, cutting out so many things because you have multiple sclerosis and you've convinced yourself that you can't do certain things or that they wouldn't be any fun, that they'd be too big of a struggle. You make your life so small that it is harmful to you. It's harmful to the quality of your life and maybe even to your health. Well, it turns out that I probably should have taken my own advice because I realized recently that I had let my life become too small. And the way that I learned that was through a really neat visit that we had with our son, Chris, who we haven't seen for 18 years, and not because of any disinterest in doing that on our parts or his part, but just the way things worked out. We're in Washington, he's in Texas. He's got a pretty demanding job where he works long hours on the night shift. So with one thing and another, over the years, we just really haven't been able to visit one another. And he flew out this last week and we spent about a week with us for the first time in, like I said, 18 years. And it was a revelation to me, not just the joy of seeing him again, but recognizing how I had let my life get too small. One of the things that I learned was that I had become so addicted to my routines. I had been so wedded to the routines that I had built up to make my life easier that I could not stray from those routines without anxiety, irritation, or even anger. And of course, one would have to wonder, how was that going to work out having my son come? Because we have a small house. It's not even 800 square feet. It's only 2 bedrooms, and one of the bedrooms is used as the office. So we have essentially 1 bedroom. And we decided that he should stay in that bedroom, which meant that my husband and I would sleep on the L-shaped sofa that we have in the living room. It's quite large, and in fact, I've slept on it myself many times, but it would just be an interesting adjustment because a lot of other things about my routine were about to be disrupted. Number 1, I get up early, like 4 o'clock early, and that gives me the peace and the quiet that I want for my day to just kind of get my thoughts together and take care of checking emails and doing all that nonsense that you need to get out of the way before you can really get going on your day. It turns out that Chris likes to get up early too. And so when I would get up at 4, he was usually already up or getting there. So he would get the coffee made already, and we would sit down at the table and enjoy a cup of coffee together, and we'd have a chance to talk, and it was really wonderful. Was I on edge because my routine was being violated? Actually, no. I was having so much fun and enjoying it so much that it didn't even occur to me to be angry or upset. Another thing that changed was the way we ate. Now, I did not go way off my plan, but the meals that Chris cooked for us were so tasty and made with such love and care. How could I possibly not want to eat them? And I did actually enjoy them very much. Would it change the way I eat from now on? No, probably not. But that few days of having a lot of steak and pork chops and burgers and other things that I don't normally eat, it was really, really fun. And especially with good company to share it with, I didn't mind at all. So when things happened, like the car broke down, our truck just died the last day before Chris was to go back to the airport to fly home to Texas. And I think what I learned from that whole experience was that we have wonderful friends. We're never alone. So almost as soon as we needed it, we had help getting the car towed to the mechanics. We had a car loaned to us by friends for the day so that we could take Chris back to the airport. And then when we got back, our pastor loaned us his truck to just keep until the truck was ready again, because he knew that I would have trouble getting around without some kind of transportation. Everything was different last week. Nothing was according to the routine, but I enjoyed it a lot, and I wouldn't have traded it at all. What was the lesson that I learned? Routines are good. Routines are helpful. But routines can be a trap. They can get you to think that you have to do things a certain way at a certain time in a certain order, or your whole day will be disrupted, destroyed. But you know what? That isn't true. And maybe we need a little bit more courage to step outside our routines once in a while, so that we realize that life has a lot more in it than we thought it did. And even if we thought we were living a pretty good life, as far as managing our stress, managing our health, there are other ways to let things into your life that perhaps we just got out of the habit of doing. Now, this isn't really a very weighty episode, I admit, but it's one that I really wanted to share with you, because I'd love to know what you think. Have you experienced the same thing? Do you really cling to your routines? Do you really dislike it when your routines are not honored, when you find that things that happen during the day disrupt your routines or force you to make changes? Or are you still fairly flexible? I would say flexibility is a good skill to have, no matter where you are in life and no matter what state of health you're in. And I know that it gets harder when we have MS. It gets harder to let unexpected things into our lives. But I'm beginning to think that that's really what life is all about. Well, that's all I have for you today. So just go and take really good care of yourself as you're living your life as best as you can. And I will see you again in my next video.